Callie, talk about how preseason sessions have gone so far.
I'm really excited with preseason. I think a lot of kids surprised us throughout the preseason. One of our main goals throughout our preseason this year was that we really wanted to unify the team and create a culture of what it takes to be a good team, a great teammate, whether you're a starter or a player coming off the bench. And I think we've really accomplished that. I think we established that. I think there's great unity within our program right now, and everybody's working hard every play, and that's how you get better, when you have 1 through 13 pushing each other on and off the floor and holding each other accountable. And we've talked a lot about accountability throughout the preseason, and we really want to have player accountability opposed to coach accountability. I think when we establish the players holding each other accountable, then that's where greatness happens. Obviously, as coaches, we are stressing a lot of accountability throughout our program, but we really wanted to stem from the players, and I think they showed tremendous growth in that standpoint as well.
You've had several scrimmages prior to the first game coming up against Lake Erie. What have you learned about your team in those scrimmages?
2 out of the 3 scrimmages, I think we played extremely well. I think the first 2 scrimmages, they obviously were at home. We showed a lot of greatness. Offensively, defensively. I challenged them though, because I went on the road. We traveled 3 hours, went to Fairmont, who was a really good team, better team out of the 3, and challenged them with a road game. And I think we learned very quickly that in this region, you got to play every single day. And I don't think we brought energy and effort to that game, and I think it really motivated us going into our Lake Erie game next week. Defensively, we still need to learn. There's some things that we need to get better at. I was pleased with our first 2 games, but I think that we became complacent. And I think that's going to be something that we need to continue to push this team to get better every single day. With 7 new players, 6 players, only 2 returning, 2 players that are in the starting lineup, I think we lack that experience of every game is a big game. Understanding the culture, the winning culture. When we go places, when we're on the road, we have to rely on that defense, because on the schedule, Edinburgh is a game that everybody wants to win. And I think we're learning that. I think that that's something that these incoming players got a real good glimpse of when we were at Fairmont State. In saying that, I didn't think we played well, but we didn't lose by much. So I think that once we really tie up our loose ends and we have a more definitive roles out there on our team, I think we'll be okay. I'm really excited about this season.
You lose 3 1,000-point scorers from a year ago, but you return a 4th in Michaela Barnes. Michaela was an All-American a year ago. What does she do for an encore?
I think Michaela is put in a situation where she's going to be everybody's player stop. So, whether she was number 1 or number 4 on the scouting report, this year she's number 1 on the scouting report. Everybody's going to stop her. I think that's where we as a team need to come out and get stops defensively, so that we're creating those easy baskets in transition and out of fast break situations. But Michaela has really embraced the role. She understands, she knows, and we're trying to put her in situations where we can't break down the defense, but find Bridget Schaefer, find Dre Tulik, or Madison Amalia. And I think in our scrimmages, those 3 have really grown into understanding that Michaela is the one that everybody's trying to stop. So their roles, supplementing her, is going to be a key factor offensively. But we're really trying to take the defensive approach. We understand that in the conference, the team with the best defense is usually the number 1 team in the West, and traditionally the West is one of the top teams in the nation. So we're really trying to take that approach, and I think if we stick to that and we're consistent with our defense, the offense will take care of itself, because we haven't had that in a couple years. So I'm trying to get back to that.
Maybe the player lost in the shuffle a year ago a little bit was Bridget Schaefer. Talk about her improvement and development as a player the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I think a lot of her improvement has come from the neck up. I think that she's an extremely confident player. I think with her success last year against some really good teams, Cal being one of them, she had a 20-point output, has really given her the confidence to be the player that she is. I think with losing those 3 players in Michelle Yon, Sierra Roston, and Jonte Walton, she understands that this is her time. This is her opportunity. And she's really embraced it. She's worked hard in the off season, preseason. She's stepped up and has been a tremendous leader. I'd like for her to be a little bit more vocal, but that's really not the type of player she is. She's more of an introvert, and she'll lead through her actions rather than her voice. But she has had 3 very good scrimmages. She struggled a little bit at Fairmont State, but it didn't take her out of her game. She came up with some big shots late in that scrimmage, which, was really good for her, finding her confidence and understanding that, even if you struggle in the beginning, it's what you do at the end to get your team the win. So I'm really excited about her. I think that she can have a really good season for us.
Shania Sharp was forced to sit out the 2018-19 season with an injury. How has she progressed so far, and what does she bring to the team?
Energy, effort, resilience. I mean, Shania is the ultimate inspiring story. To have a kid that was on a PSAC championship team get hurt halfway through the season when she was probably in her prime. I mean, she was getting 18 boards in one game and double digits, had a double-double. She is inspiring to me because she has pushed herself. Her injury took a little bit more time than we expected. Most kids, mentally, that would just tear them apart. It motivated her, it inspired her, and she is playing out of her mind right now. And in all seriousness, she's probably one of our best leaders on the floor because she is sacrificing everything. She's hurting, but she doesn't complain. She doesn't make excuses. She holds herself accountable, and she holds the other kids on our team accountable. And when you have that on a team like this, special things can happen because players start playing for each other. And when you get players to play for something greater than basketball, that's when you find a lot of success and greatness within each other. But I'm so proud of Shania and what she's overcome in this year and a half, and the person and player that she has become is impeccable. And I'm really excited to have her on this 19-20 roster.
You have 7 newcomers between transfers and freshmen. Who's caught your eye early in the season?
Wow, the silent assassin, Emma Elash. Kid came from McKeesport, and she's no one that you're gonna point out and say, this kid is flashy, this kid is fancy. She just does everything right. She's consistent, so from a coach's perspective, you know what you're going to get out of her. She's hardworking, she's determined, she plays her role, and I think in the game of basketball, you take for granted role players because the stars usually rise to the top and they're the ones that you keep an eye on. But on great teams, it's those role players who really make the impact because they're not taking shots away from people, they're sacrificing their body, they're making rotations, they're lockdown defending the best team's opponent and not complaining about it. And Emma has really been that player for us in these past 3 scrimmages. On the sidelines as a coach in real time, you see that she's doing good things, but when you go back and you watch the film, you really can see what she's doing for the team. And like I said, defensively is a really point of emphasis for us this year, and Emma is incredible defensively for us. She brings that. She can guard 1 through 5. She can shut down other opponents' best players, whether they're shooters or drivers, and she doesn't complain about it. She just accepts it. So she has really stuck out for us. Another one who has been out for quite a while is Dre Tulik. Dre is extremely dynamic. I mean, she could score at all 3 levels. She's working on getting in better shape every single day, and I think that's going to be her greatest challenge is, taking care of her body and getting in shape because she's sat out for 2 years. She hasn't touched a basketball, and to come out and in her 3 scrimmages produce the way that she has offensively, I think it's really exciting for her because she's not efficient yet, but once she becomes efficient, I think she's going to be a very good player for us. I think Jada and Rana are still adjusting to the college game. I think once they find that confidence and that understanding, the speed and the strength, I think they'll be all right. I don't think in February they're going to be the players they are now. I think that they're going to transition and get better, and that's what's more important to me is that, now they're learning, but once we get into February, they're a totally different player. And we talk a lot about last year. Last year Bridget and the scrimmages. In our one scrimmage that we had, she didn't play very well. Our first 2 games, she was limited in minutes, and then her opportunity came when we played our 3rd game of the year at Wheeling, and she earned herself a starting position. So we talk about that a lot because roles have not been defined yet, and I don't want anybody to get complacent. I want them to continue to grow and learn and come into those roles. And then the rest of them are still learning a lot and working to get better and transition into the college game. I think Alexis and Maggie are coming into their roles. You know, their roles have changed from where they came from junior colleges. And I think that they're getting a better understanding of this is what my team needs from me, and they're grasping that every single day. One that I didn't mention, who was on our team last year, so she's a very unique situation for us, but that has grown tremendously and gained confidence, is Madison Amalia. And Madison, again, didn't play a full season last year, is coming into her own. She had 3 really good scrimmages. Down the stretch in all 3 games, she made some tough shots. And I think that's what we're missing in those 3 players that graduated, is people being able to step up and make those tough shots. And Madison has been that for us. And Madison has been the girl who has embraced her role as point guard. She's not a point guard, she's a shooting guard. We moved over to point guard because of her experience and her stability as that role, knowing and understanding who to get the ball to, when to get the ball to that person, has really impacted our game. So she's one that I'm really excited about. I think that she's going to continue to grow and get better.
What do you think fans can look for from this team in 2019-20?
I'm hoping that we play a more upbeat, fast-paced style tempo. You'll see us pressing more. You'll see us being more active defensively and trapping and getting in passing lanes and trying to make the defense uncomfortable. But there's going to be situations where we need to play a more containment style defense. So I think this team is going to be a more full court, fast-paced team. We're working offensively every day. But I think it's going to be a different dynamic for us. I think that defensively we're looking to create offense, which is unique from last year. But with the dynamic of the team, I think that's where we need to start. I'm hoping to just get better one day at a time and learn from them every single practice, every game, and them learn, you know, the Edinboro way and the Edinboro tradition. So I'm hoping it'll be an exciting year for us.